We've all got that one superfan Star Wars friend.
Fucking love Star Wars!
And it's been 5 years since I've actually looked at this game. Well, technically I've kept an eye on the patches because they put some new characters in. I will say that the hero character is completely OP still. We'll get to that in a second. I am Couch Coop and this is the top 25 couch co-op games of all time, PS4, PS5. One thing to make a note of is there's no 5 boost on this game, which I was really shocked by because the patch was 62 goddamn gigabyte, and I thought the least you can do is put a 10th generation system update in it, but no. However, the game was always spectacular looking. You also might be thinking this is damn high for a 2017 EA game of all things, and it is quite, but on revisit and what they've done and added, and some of the modes that you can explore with 2 people on an offline mode on the couch is pretty amazing. Now there is another catch with this game is I'm currently having that PSN issue where I'm waiting to renew my UAE PSN account, so I don't actually have the paid access. It's withheld so much content from me, not on the split screen level. Loads of what looks like co-op online really cool campaign missions that I don't have access to, so that means this is a true offline review of Star Wars Battlefield 2.
Think this is funny?
Now let's talk modes, because on the surface this is a very boring split screener. What it says to you is you can access the arcade or create like your own scenario. What happens in the arcade is that you get to unlock these tiered missions that have a star system. You have to complete one to get to the next. It's kind of a cool incentive to look at what levels are offered to you, but it's always this boring co-op team gameplay which is okay, but the novelty wears off damn quick. Some depth gets delivered in the form of being able to switch out your class, and you have that card system which has gone under such review and is barely even the same system that it started as, but essentially they're perk cards that you can put in. You have slots of 3-on-3 and that can change up some of your special moves. They have tried to explore that sort of loadout philosophy, but the game's mechanics are so shallow that none of it really has a massive impact. Visually it's amazing. Being able to play as Kylo and come out as some of the more recent films characters is definitely a cool thing. But this standard co-op team gameplay is not going to change any lives. Now, the next tier for me with interest is the Onslaught mode, which is still co-op, but you've got a mercenary counter going down and you've got to kill stuff. And this is where the perks really come into play, because you need X-ray vision sometimes. A guy might have a turret they can throw down. We communicated a lot more. It was a hell of a lot more intense, and definitely the way forward on co-op mode. Just briefly on options and screen splits, there are no performance toggles. That broke my heart. I thought there might be like a fidelity or performance mode switch on, and there is a locked horizontal split. It's not too bad because it's a first person intense shooter, but it works okay. Now we're still on co-op, and some of this has been added with the recent updates and patches. I'm talking about new ships and some of the new moves that come with them, and some new maps in the Galactic Starfighter mode, which took me a while to find. They've managed to embed it behind a load of pointless options, but this is where we had really quite an exhilarating experience. The game doesn't hold back with what it's attempting, which is a full 360-degree playing field, and you are dogfighting, using specials, using boosts, avoiding obstacles which are burning spacecraft that equal insta-kill. Just getting your head round the controls of the damn ships is a job enough, let alone trying to find someone to hunt down and kill. But when the penny drops in, you do get used to everything. It's amazing. Nostalgic noises everywhere, voice samples from a lot of the actors in the films. This was a whole step up from some of that shallow co-op gameplay, which if you don't dig around, you'll end up just having the same fight on Tatooine with the same characters every time. You have to use your noggin and start moving those variables and changing everything up. You do have maps to choose from in the Starfighter modes. It's quite strange because all it really does is change the shape of the debris that's existing above said planet. So it doesn't really matter what you're choosing on that front, it's just the backdrop. It's a bit misleading. Bless them, maybe they just wanted to put a few more map options in there. You're never going to be like, oh no, we've got X map, because this debris is as random as it looks. Having said that, there is one outstanding level where you are circumnavigating a giant battle cruiser. One of you can take the role of keeping close to the ship itself, the other one can pick off the rebels as they're coming in on their ships. The communications call, the samples are amazing. Kylo Ren's ship can go full stealth. This is potentially the sweet spot for the co-op modes within the entire game. It's a very cool set of variables that all come together like some sort of alignment, and you end up having a really good time slaughtering the rebel scum and trying to get your head around how these ships control. And they do have personalities. I was impressed and surprised at that choosing bombers and fighters straight up have loads of differences in their specials and their flight systems. Okay, I get the chance to talk about my favourite mode, and obviously it is the versus mode, with all of the aforementioned pumped in as game types. So normally you don't pay too much attention to it, but at the top we've got a counter, blue and red. This is the amount of troops out on pitch at any given time, and your job is to minimise that number on the other person's team. Now a hero character, hold on a second, Darth Vader gets an RPG to the head here, survives it. The man's ridiculously OP, we'll get into that in a second. So you're whittling down this number. You can either avoid the other player, because you know they're not going to be easy to kill, and you might as well just get on with killing all the pawns, and then there'll be a bit of a showdown at the end. But you'll have the advantage because, in theory, you would have killed more of their troops than yours. Killing troops gives you funds, which you can spend on spawning in a hero character. And I went with Vader early doors, which completely terrified the person I was playing with, gave me a massive smile on my face, because I'm walking around the map like some cloaked demigod.
I'm here to put you back on schedule.
You might think that seems like a bit of a broken system. You've got to your hero character first. Well, my opponent is saving their points to bring out their hero character later on. It's a bit like using a massive special in a fighting game. It just depends when you do it, and your funds don't have to be spent on the best hero character. You could fragment the spend and not blow it all on Vader, but trust me, it's totally worth it. So Vader did eventually get his comeuppance. He has way too many hit points, though, I will say that. The guy is completely overpowered. But I had spent my money, and my opponent then gets their own back by bringing out Rey and completely leveling things up. Now have a look at the numbers. You can see that there's only 11 people left. Things got really tense. This system's got loads of variables on it because you can switch out up to about 15 to 16 maps, and all of the heroes differ depending on light or dark side, and they all have their own card system. There's huge depth here for an offline couch co-op PvP game. I was gobsmacked. Never actually saw it play through correctly because I hadn't taken the time to notice how all these systems work in the versus arena. It also will push this 1v1 hero versus mode, which is about exciting as it sounds. You haven't got those other troops, there's no number system, and it's just like playing the worst 3D fighting game ever. I actually lost this game because of my early Vader purchase. I just didn't have decent enough troops to access at the end, and it went down to the wire with me picking some mediocre priced stormtroopers to try and have an impact on the outcome, but to no avail. Okay, you guessed it, the best part of this game is versus, flying around one of them dreadnoughts, going through all of the cool ships and trying to shoot the crap out of each other in a Star Wars canon universe. It's pretty awesome, and using specials is important. Once you get your head around the controls and the sort of globe map area that all the enemies exist in, it's amazing. This is one of the best PvP experiences I've had in a Star Wars game, and you can thank the Split Screen Gaming League, I'll put a link in the description, for keeping the dream alive, and you can thank me for going through all of those pointless modes and coming up with the menu of the day for the best experience with this particular game. Now I have been Couch Coop, and you can do me a solid and click that button. I will see you there.